The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe, rain, sleet, or snow, I grind. I am clutch. I am the difference maker. I am the game changer.
Man, that intro always pumps me up, guys. Guys, I'm Malik, right? CEO of the Right Way Sports Network. Joined with my co-host, we've got Daniel Malik in the building. We've got Alex Sagini. Alex Sagini, welcome back to the Right Way Sports Network, my man. How we doing?
Appreciate it. For those that don't know you, that don't know me, like Malik said, my name's Alex Sagini. You can call me many things. I've been called the thunder from down under, the mouth from the south. But one thing you can't call me is boring, and I'm excited for this show.
Absolutely, Matt. Wow, I didn't even expect that intro. Wow, that was
had it in my back pocket.
All right, a mouth from the south, thunder from down under. Okay, all right, okay. With that being said, Daniel, do they call you any nicknames that you want to?
I don't know. Nothing that crazy. I mean, just the kid from the West, the Cali kid. But I don't know. I'm excited to be on here with you guys.
The know-it-all, right? But no, anyway, make sure you guys go download the TWSN mobile app. Yes, we have a mobile app where you can find all of our great writers' content, always coming out new articles, different things like that to talk about here at TWSN. Make sure you guys also subscribe to the TWSN YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms. With that being said, guys, we got a jam-packed show, a lot of stuff to talk about. First thing I want to get into, Julio Jones was traded to the Tennessee Titans for a second and a fourth round pick. I'm going to make it very, very brief. I don't think it was enough. Curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Alex, I'll let you go first. What were your thoughts?
Was it enough? Probably not. But, I mean, you got to think they obviously took the best they could get. Julio is an aging receiver with injury issues. I think that if I was the GM and my team was a contender, I would have given up more to get Julio Jones on my team. I mean, obviously, you're going ahead and taking away, like, I would say 20 NFL teams. They're not trading for Julio because they're not really contenders. Julio's not going to make them a Super Bowl roster. But a team like the Titans, I think, really feel that they have what it takes to, make that next step. And maybe Julio is what needs that next step. It's going to be really tough to stop A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry. I mean, it's going to be definitely a headache for defense coordinators. But as far as if it was enough, probably not. But, I mean, the NFL, that's all they would offer, I would assume.
It's hell no, it's not enough, right? But I mean, that's all that they were offered. But listen, DeAndre Hopkins was traded for a second. Julio Jones was traded for a second. These guys are going to completely outperform what they were traded for. But as far as the Tennessee Titans, listen, I'm still concerned on their defense, right? Their secondary is young. I'm still concerned on the pass rush. I think it was ranked 30th in the league last year. They did add Bud Dupree, but it still concerns me. And I'm sorry, for me personally, this doesn't change a thing. It's going to be great for the Tennessee offense, but the reality is they threw to their receivers the 30th least in the NFL, or the 30th most in the NFL. It's not going to change a thing, right? This offense is about Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry gets hurt, the offense goes down. I don't care if they have Julio Jones on their team. It is a Derrick Henry run offense. So for the Titans, I think it's a good thing. You add talent to your team. You only give up a second-round pick, but they still got more concerns on their team. I think at most, this team wins 11 wins this year.
Mm-hmm. And once again, guys, you guys are joining us for the Game Changer show. You can follow along with us on our Twitter. We're streaming it live from our Twitter account and as well as our YouTube channel and Facebook as well. But, yeah, I don't think that they got enough for Julio Jones because of the type of receiver Julio Jones still is. I think that's the important, message in this entire thing. Julio Jones, to me, is still a dynamic player in this league. He's still a game breaker, a game changer. Good on the Titans. They got away with highway robbery. They literally got Julio Jones. And honestly, it was like a random place too. I know you heard all these reports like, oh, Julio Jones wants to play for a big arm quarterback. Ryan Tannehill isn't a big arm quarterback. So it was kind of strange to see him land there. But hey, I know Derrick Henry is smiling right now. He can't load the box anymore. You can't say, hey, we're going to double A.J. Brown. You have to pick your poison, especially such a great move for them, especially after the fact that they lost Corey Davis. So good on the Tennessee Titans. They got arguably probably the best receiver in football, one of the best receivers in football right now, and Julio Jones. Good on them. Not too much more action going on in the NFL right now. Bunch of guys changing their numbers. Jalen Ramsey changed his number, went back to single digits. We never really talked about that, actually. I actually want to talk about that really, really briefly. Do you guys have any hot takes or any thoughts on players, changing their number to singular? I know a lot of old school football fans. They hate the fact that, defensive backs can now wear number 2 or number 3, whatever the case may be. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I don't really care personally, but what are your thoughts?
Change is always different. Change always takes time to get used to. That's the biggest thing. Even with myself, because I found myself looking these jerseys, right? Especially like not the offensive side, like the receivers. I think it's cool. I think, but defensive backs, it's weird. It looks weird on the jerseys, and for me personally, I don't like it. I don't, but at the end of the day, I know. Give it a year, give it 2 years. I'm gonna find myself buying a Patriots jersey from whoever I want. But it's different. It's changed. People got to get used to change. So it'll take time though.
The way I feel about the numbers, I think most people who are saying that the numbers are a bad idea to change are unfun people. I mean, come on. From the moment we're in high school until these players get into the NFL, normally the best guys or some of the best guys are wearing those single-digit numbers, and it just looks so clean on them. Now, there are certain guys that obviously need different numbers. Like offensive linemen should not be trotting out there with number 2. It wouldn't look right, but they can't have that. Like I feel like the numbers are structured in a way that it's perfect. I think a defensive back wearing a single-digit number is awesome, and it just makes them look even cooler than they would have before. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, and anyone who's making it a big deal, it seems like they're just, trying to get a rise out of anything.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's something that I think again, I don't really care too much that people have that the players are playing with single digit numbers. It is what it is. It's cool. It's gonna be weird to see a linebacker wearing number 5 though. That's gonna be very, very strange, and I'm sure we're gonna start to see that. Guys, want to keep the conversation going. Switching over to the NBA. So the Los Angeles Lakers, my interesting, my goat, my team, I guess you should say, only because LeBron's on there, was eliminated from the playoff contention. And, I saw a lot of people celebrating LeBron's quote unquote demise. And it brings me up to this next question. What's next for the Los Angeles Lakers? What's next for LeBron James? Now, LeBron's a bit of a weird guy, right? It seems like anything to, diverge the attention from the fact that he got eliminated from the playoffs. He literally just captured the narrative today. He just literally just captured the storylines today with changing his number to 6. So everyone's saying, as Dash said, Dash is one of our content creators here at TWS, and he just joined. He says Miami Heat LeBron is back. Guys, it's just a number. It's literally just a number. Let's not act like he's going to turn back the clock and he's 20 whatever years old again. He's not. He's older. I'm realizing that. But to me, I just find it so fascinating that LeBron, with a single number change, can capture all these headlines. Our company did it, and so many other companies did it. LeBron's changing his number. LeBron's changing his number. Let's be excited. What are you guys' thoughts on it? I think LeBron's an attention whore, to be honest with you, to put it mildly. But to me, it's like, bro, what are you? I mean, you've been with the Lakers for 2 years now. You're wearing 23. You've been wearing 23. You won a championship with 23.
The way I feel, maybe it's not a physical change when he changes that number, but I think it might be a mental change. You know what I mean? He went to Miami, and when he went to Miami, he became the villain. He was loved at Cleveland. He went to Miami, rep number 6, and he was the villain when he said, "I'll take my talents to South Beach." Now he's at the Lakers. He won a championship with 23. Maybe he realizes that this team just isn't going to cut it. He needs to get again. He's going to recruit him a superstar.
Alex, I can see that. I can see that, and we're going to talk about that, Alex, because I think you and I are on the same page. But listen, I think LeBron is going through what a regular person would call a midlife crisis, but he's going through that with his career. When you get older, well, we're not there yet, right? We're still young. We're still in our 20s, some of us early teens. I'm later teens, sorry, not early teens. But, I think he's going through sort of like a mid-career kind of, or dwindling down crisis. Like, he's doing anything to be in again, be cool again. Like, you know, that dad that's 55 years old, they go out and they get a Camaro, and then they're like, yeah, look at me, I'm driving again. LeBron's thing is, you know what? I'm going to wear number 6. I'm sure next year we're also going to see LeBron wear a headband again, although he barely has a hairline. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that because he's going through this. He's going through it.
It's like the same thing. He's trying to grab the attention, right? Because we saw last year in the bubble, he said people were calling him Wash, the Wash King he used on his Instagram post, hashtag. No one's calling you Wash, LeBron. No one's like, we all understand, no matter what, you're a top 5 player in the world. That's not Wash, LeBron. I'm sorry. And
we still have people call him Wash. We got guys like Pranav Sriraman. We got guys like Will Lachlan. We got a lot of people calling LeBron,
but they
Wash.
recognize he's top 5, and that's LeBron.
Not good enough. That's not good enough for LeBron, though. When has the top 5 ever been good enough for LeBron? LeBron literally took the Drake lyric. He said, "I'm not top 10, but I'm top 2, and I'm not 2." That's literally what LeBron is on. He's like, I am the best basketball player in the world, even though he's not. He's not right now. He's not. Steph Curry, I think that might be. But LeBron is not washed. Anthony Ravasio, LeBron James is not washed. I just think he's an older player that has to manage his body better, that's coming off of a short season. He had a superstar AD next to him that was never healthy. I just don't know. You know, I think that LeBron, though, does. I'm sorry to cut you off too, Daniel, but I think LeBron does need a narrative in order to propel him to the next level. Now, I don't think LeBron can propel to that next level without going out there and getting another superstar, which brings forward to the next question. What's next for the Los Angeles Lakers? Alex Sagini.
I know all over Twitter, everywhere I've been hearing about how the Lakers don't have enough to trade or this and that. I would say shut up. The Lakers have figured out a way to do it time and time again. Let's not forget they were this close to securing Kawhi Leonard, but with AD and LeBron. Like, they can make it happen. They figure out crazy ways to do it, and it can happen when LeBron wants a guy. LeBron gets that guy a lot of times, and I really hope, being a Damian Lillard fan myself, somehow, some way, Damian Lillard ends up on that LA Lakers team. That would be pandemonium. Lakers in 4.
Wow. I think because, Alex, you bring up a great point, because all I hear right now, and I mean, everyone's trying to say, the Steph Curry. Bring Steph Curry to the Lakers. I think that's way more unrealistic than Damian Lillard. And that's because right now, the situations they're in, right? Damian Lillard, the past 4 to 5 years, with obviously Terry Stotts, who just got fired, they've underachieved, right? Damian Lillard put up 55 points in the playoffs. He put up one of the greatest playoff performances I've seen live, and they didn't get out of the first round.
There's no way in hell they can get Dame Lillard, though.
I don't want to hear that.
How can they get Steph?
Wait.
How can they get
Listen. So listen. I was told a few weeks ago, and it really baffled me. I was told a few weeks ago that the Lakers got it wrong. Anthony Davis was not the right partner for LeBron James. That's what I was told. It caused me to stumble. I said they won a championship together. I said yes, but in terms of reliability, Anthony Davis has always dealt with injuries. LeBron would do much better. I mean, if you figure, like, LeBron and Anthony Davis are dominant together when they're both on the court, but they're both too big. They're like LeBron might not play like it, but they're both two big men. They're both two big men. The floor spacing, my buddy Sav says it best. The floor spacing with the Los Angeles Lakers isn't that great. LeBron would do much better, he said, with the top tier guard, like a Damian Lillard, like a Steph Curry. So, if the Portland Trailblazers call Alex Sagini, who's the general manager of the Lakers, for this exercise, and they say, "Hey, you want Damian Lillard? Hell, I'll throw Carmelo in there with you. Give us Anthony Davis."
If I'm the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers, I say, hell yes. Give him to me right now. I think Damian Lillard, for sure, he's more reliable than Anthony Davis. No one can deny that. I think he, like you said, LeBron has always, he's always had help when he has that shooter that can, take the big shot, that can in games or just, take some of the weight off him for a second. Like they have Andre Drummond. If they keep Andre Drummond, there's your center. I mean, Andre Drummond, let's not act like he's just some slouch. Like let's not. And yeah, I'm taking Damian Lillard for Anthony Davis all day long. I think he's a better player.
Yes, I completely agree. And sorry to cut you off, Malik. But another name, I think. I mean, I'm just throwing out names here, but Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's in a rough situation, and
I don't know if I'm trading Anthony Davis for Bradley Beal.
I'm saying he's a free agent in 2 years. And I mean, I'm not saying because I don't know necessarily.
Steph Curry's a free agent in 2 years, though. A year.
But the difference is, I think Steph wants to stay. Steph is going to build something with the Warriors still.
Doesn't matter. As of right now, as it stands right now, Steph Curry's doesn't have a contract with the Warriors in place right now. So we could play the hypothetical game, just same thing we can play with Bradley Beal. So we can play with Kyrie Irving. So we can play with Kevin Durant because those guys are all going to be free agents after, right? So I'm just simply asking. I'm sorry, we're talking about the thought process of, is Anthony Davis for Damian Lillard a fair trade-off? Do you think it is, Daniel? I actually want to hear your thoughts on it.
Completely. And the reason is, I mean, you saw that this postseason, I placed a couple bets on Anthony Davis. He kind of screwed me over there, but it's the reliability, right? After the bubble, he wasn't the same. And all year long, what it is it's the lack of urgency. We saw statistically, he puts up way better numbers at the center position when he's inside of the post, when he's not being lethargic, when he's not being passive, but he doesn't play like that. He's so unreliable. And yes, he had one great postseason run. He had one great finals run. But besides that, he's been unreliable in the playoffs. He hasn't been there. And Damian Lillard.
There's been a whole lot of talk about Anthony Davis being top 3 best players, or top 4 or top 5 best players in the NBA when healthy. I've never seen that. Have you guys ever seen that? I've never seen that.
At his best, yes, but he's almost never at his best. I think he's like one game you'll see him.
LeBron,
like, oh my gosh, this
Curry, Giannis, Kawhi, KD.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. You make a good point.
I don't know if I've ever seen AD as top 5.
Although I'd probably put him over Kawhi. I mean, I'm not.
Oh no! I would, if there's one argument.
Luka.
Nah.
Let's keep going. Let's keep it going. We can keep it going.
AD's better than Luka too. I mean, come on.
No, he is not. No, he's not. Alex, did you know?
And I love Luka. I love Luka. Luka's one of my favorite players. But
did you watch this postseason? Hold on. Did you watch this postseason? Luka single-handedly kept that team in the playoffs. Luka single-handedly won them 3 games. His second star was Kristaps Porzingis, averaging 4 rebounds a game with 13 points.
I'm not arguing that Anthony Davis looked better than Luka this or especially not even this year. I'm just saying going forward, I would rather have an Anthony Davis on my team than a Luka Doncic.
Oh, Alex, no, you're not getting into
maybe not even next 5 years. I think Luka Doncic is the next big NBA star. I think he is in the running to get that torch passed to him and be the face. But do I think that he's the top guy? I don't know. I think at this moment, Anthony Davis with a little bit more, if he can stay healthy, I'm taking Anthony Davis over him.
Luka could win the MVP next year. Luka put up 45 points in the playoffs. He averaged, I think, 30-something. He's their pick and roll master. He always had the ball in his hands. He's the offense of the Mavericks. And the way I categorize the top tier of NBA stars is, are they their team? Malik, we didn't even add Jokic. Jokic is better than him. Embiid is better than him.
Chris, my Ireland brother, he just said, I don't even watch B-ball. AD not better than Luka Doncic. You're crazy, Alex.
And Alex, the thing is, listen, for me personally, I haven't seen Anthony Davis be the engine of a team. Whereas all these other guys, the LeBron James, Luka, Jokic, I've seen them be the engine. I've seen them be that guy. And yes, Anthony Davis played better last postseason than LeBron James. But over the next 5 years, Anthony Davis, I just can't take him being my number 1 guy on my team. I can't.
You make a very good point with the engine. I completely agree that Luka Doncic is a better leader and can be a better engine than Anthony Davis. But if we're talking about number 2 guys, I think, and then not even for just LeBron, not even just for LeBron, I think Anthony Davis is a dog.
Here's my thing. No, let me tell you why he's not a dog. Here's my thing. AD, and I love Alex. I love Alex. That is my Bengal brother. That is my guy. But I want to be real right now. AD needs LeBron. LeBron has been to this pinnacle before he had AD. But you look at the players that we're talking about adding, right? Would you rather have? Luka Doncic is taking the Mavericks, a piss-poor Dallas Mavericks, who we're going to talk about later. Probably our next topic, actually. He's taking a piss-poor Mavericks team, to the playoffs by himself, essentially, right? Kristaps Porzingis is playing a game here, a game there, then he's out. Who's he got on his team? Dorian Finney-Smith? That's what he has? Max Kleber? Like, is that Maxi Kleber? That's what he has to work with, right? Powell, Jalen Brunson, right? So look at the guys that are leading their teams to the playoffs without a LeBron. Look at Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is the engine for the Trailblazers, right?
100%.
If Anthony Davis is on the Trailblazers and Lillard's not on the Trailblazers, are the Trailblazers a playoff team?
Not this year because, I mean, he was very unreliable.
I'm just asking.
Is he healthy all year? Yes.
First of all, he's not even like a ball handler, right? So he's not that. A lot of these players that we're seeing are ball dominant, are guys that work well with the ball in their hand, right? They're not off ball play. Like AD to me needs a LeBron. LeBron doesn't need an AD. He makes life easier for LeBron, sure. Right? But to me, I think that they can upgrade. I think LeBron would do much better with the Damian Lillard or a real outside threat. I mean, you look at it. Their two highest paid players on the Los Angeles Lakers are LeBron and AD. Are any of them offering you anything from an outside perspective? Like, are they real threats? Who are the outside guys? Who are the core of the team? Kyle Kuzma? Alex Caruso?
Not after this offseason. They're all
Dennis Schroeder?
Trade package.
Montrezl Harrell? Who else? Ben McLemore? Wesley Matthews? What are we talking about? Like, the two highest paid players are big guys, and one of them can't stay healthy.
But also LeBron James, while he may be a big guy, he is their point guard. He is the guy. He is their ball handler. LeBron would be listed still as a big man because he could play all spots. Horton Tucker, right? Yeah, LeBron can play. LeBron is a small forward, right? But he's ball dominant, so he's considered a point guard, right? But it's a positionless NBA now. But my process is AD is not like a LeBron. AD can't play multiple positions. AD is what AD is. He can play center and power forward. That's what he is. So, I'm sorry. Alex said they should go out and get Damian Lillard. Daniel, you agreed about the Damian Lillard. Who else is somebody that you think that they should go out and get? It just depends on if they're willing to part with Anthony Davis. I don't know if they are. Let's say they're not. Let's play the hypothetical game, guys, that Anthony Davis cannot be traded, right? Yeah. They cannot be traded. What the hell do the Lakers have to offer the Trailblazers?
Everything.
Oh, you want Kuzma? You want Horton Tucker? Here's who? You want a first round? They don't have the first round. Didn't they trade all their picks with the Anthony Davis thing?
Well, they still got some. Trade them for the next decade. It doesn't matter. I mean, they take three. I mean, they're going to three-peat. I mean, it doesn't matter. Trade them for the next decade. Throw whatever they need in there to get it done.
Honestly,
add some more teams in there. Figure out some way where it can work.
Guys,
and
honestly,
that's what the Lakers should do.
Honestly, guys, me looking at it, to me, I'm not staring at this offseason. I'm staring at next offseason. And it sucks because LeBron, we're now talking about LeBron at 37 years old.
Right.
We're not talking about LeBron at 30. Right. We're talking about LeBron at 37 years old. I just don't know. Literally, first of all, this free agency sucks for the most part. I mean, they can get better in terms of their bench, but they're not going to really go out there and get a real game changer. What, DeMar DeRozan's a free agent?
No. It's Malik. I think what's going to happen is, as you said, you got to give this one more chance. AD and LeBron James, just those two pairing because they did win a championship. So I think next year's going to be
in the bubble.
But yes, I agree. But still, they won a championship, so you have to give them one more chance. And then by the time that season's over, you'll know whether AD's the guy or not. And then after that, I think because right now LeBron James still wants the ball in his hands, but give it another year, and then give it like a year and a half, and then once it enter the playoffs.
Let me throw another scenario at you. So, depending on what happens in this final series, that could tell me if the Clippers are going to blow it up or not. Depending on what happens in this series right here, that's going to tell me if the Clippers are going to blow it up or not. If the Clippers blow it up, that means I believe Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both have outs in their contract where they can exercise them and they both will be free agents. I'm sorry. Kawhi Leonard becomes a free agent. I'm cutting everybody. I'm cutting everybody outside of LeBron and AD, and I'm throwing the book at Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. Like you could talk about Paul George. I just think Paul George too unreliable. I'm sorry.
Paul would do good with the Lakers. Paul would do good.
Pandemic P.
Paul, wait, that's now pandemic Porzingis there apparently, but
oh yeah, he's awful too.
They're both the same thing. It's
oh my god.
Really, but I completely agree. I think the couple names that if you're not trading for a big name, I think Kawhi Leonard's a name. Yeah, Logan said Chris Paul if he doesn't want to stay with the Suns.
I mean, what does he do for the Lakers though? What does he do for the Lakers? He's ball dominant. That's automatically makes LeBron like LeBron and him are both ball. That's the exact same reason why LeBron and Rajon Rondo didn't make a lot of sense. Why they didn't play a lot of minutes together on the court.
Yeah.
They both are facilitators. They both are guys that need the ball in their hands. So I don't know if CP3 is an asset to the Lakers as much it may seem if he's not having the ball in his hands. I just don't know.
And he's getting older. That's fair.
I mean, he's going to be hurt by the time playoff comes around. It's like
yeah.
Thing.
Kawhi. I think obviously Kawhi's the golden ticket. That's your golden ticket because I mean you saw they went after him last offseason or 2 off seasons ago. That's your guy. If you don't get him, I don't know. Like I said, Bradley Beal could be a guy. I mean, he doesn't want to stay in his situation that much longer. He could be a guy, but besides that, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at all these names. There's none that really strike me as willing to leave their team and would be a perfect fit there. Yeah, I'm looking at these guys. I'm not seeing. I think Dame, Beal, and that's pretty much it.
All right, well, let's switch you here. Lakers got a lot of stuff that they need to do. You guys don't know in the comment section. Aiden, you don't know if they'll get Kawhi. Kawhi may have a change of heart and say, you know what, I want to win a championship. You don't know. You're purely speculating. I don't know either, but I would like to see it. Now, what should the Dallas Mavericks do to help Luka Doncic, right? It feels like this is a recurring thing where they get to the playoffs, Luka plays his heart out, and they lose. Kristaps Porzingis came out and said that he feels like he's like second fiddle apparently to the Los Angeles to Luka Doncic. He feels like he's an afterthought in the offense. He wants to let's talk about why you're an afterthought.
Duh, what did you expect?
Well, for starters, it would help if you played.
Yeah.
Let's start there. And maybe if you played on the court and people actually didn't forget that the Mavericks traded for you, maybe that will help. I'm not trying to be a psychic here, but I'm just saying maybe that would help. Maybe if you actually, it's funny. Me and Daniel were playing NBA 2K the other day, and it's amazing to me how much a gaming system like NBA 2K can make a player play like themselves. What do I mean by that? Luka Doncic, you don't feel his presence in the game.
I mean Porzingis.
Not Luka Doncic. Kristaps Porzingis, you don't feel his presence in the game. And isn't that funny in real life? You don't feel his presence in the game. To me, that's just interesting. That's interesting. So if you ask me, I think first things first, they should trade Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know what they would get. Maybe they can get a Dame, or maybe they can move on from Porzingis. And then if Kawhi and the Jazz eliminate them, maybe they'll get Kawhi. Maybe they'll get Paul George. Could you imagine Kawhi and Luka together?
It's like for the Mavericks. First off, I mean, I'm not going to say Kristaps isn't wrong. He is an afterthought in that offense. And the reason is, I mean, I watched all 7 games against the Clippers. That offense is Luka Doncic. He brings the ball up every single time. And the times he doesn't, he just gives it to a shooter. They shoot a 3. Oh, well, misses or goes in. Luka is that offense. Kristaps, there was no game except for game 7 where he took the initiative, and as soon as he got the ball, he attacked. And that's almost similar to what we saw with Anthony Davis. So I think for Luka, you got to try to trade Kristaps. I don't know if anybody's going to take that contract, to be honest. $28 million a year, I think. Either 28, some ridiculous number. But try to trade Kristaps. And I think the best thing to do, you got to get him a wing. You got to get Luka Doncic a wing, because Luka's the ball dominant guy. He's going to do that. But a guy like you said, Kawhi Leonard, even a Paul George, right? Somebody who's a wing that can play off the ball, that can play a 3-and-D guy, make the presence felt on the defensive side of the ball. I think that would be best for Luka. But Kristaps, it's kind of sad because he doesn't take that initiative. He doesn't take that drive. He doesn't make his presence felt, as you said.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Pranav, our one of our NBA guys here at TWSN, felt the need to go at me on Twitter again. What else is new? And he basically says Luka may be better right now, but to say AD hasn't been a top 5 for years. I never said for years. I said right now. AD is not a top 5 NBA player. I can name 5 players in the NBA when healthy, because like that's what we like to use, right? When we talk about AD all the time, we like to use when healthy. When healthy, AD is a top 5 player, and AD has not been that the last 2 seasons. He played like it in the playoffs. He had a very good playoffs, but we can talk about it. He's not better than Curry. He's not better than LeBron. He's not better than Giannis. He's not better than Luka. He's not better than KD. And he's not better than Jokic. We can continue, though, this conversation. That's a fact. AD is not better than those guys. Anyways, I'm very curious to see what happens, what the Mavericks do to help Luka Doncic, because certainly something needs to change. I don't envision a scenario where Kristaps Porzingis is there next year, but we'll see. Next question. Will the Phoenix Suns make the NBA Finals? Alex, let's hear from you.
To be honest, I'm going to go with yes. I look at the West, and there's not many teams that I'm really afraid of. I think it's either going to be the Phoenix Suns or the Denver Nuggets that make it out of the West. The Nuggets have Jokic, and I think even though he looks like he's playing in flip-flops, he still is a baller, and he can still, he does not look, when you watch Jokic, he doesn't look like he should be playing as well as he is. He looks like he just kind of is fumbling into these great plays, but it happens. It works. Right. I'm not going to question it. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Suns. I think that they are that, that team that it happens every few years. They shouldn't. Like, it doesn't look like they should be a unit that makes it to the finals. To me, it doesn't. To me, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they don't seem to me like, they're definitely not regular finals appearances, but I feel like they're a close-knit group. They play hard and they play together, and I think they're going to make it to the finals, only to get beat by the 76ers.
No. Stop. Well, don't say that. Don't say that. We'll get to that later. I'm just going to pretend like you didn't say that. But they got a chance. It's pretty much a dogfight, right? The game last night, the Jazz versus the Clippers, what a dogfight. The Clippers, I don't know if I can trust their team. I don't know if I can trust Paul George, right? I picked them to make the finals. I'm still rolling with them. But Kawhi Leonard is their star. Kawhi Leonard gets it done when the job is needed. But Paul George has looked as he always does, right? He shoots 20 times a game. He makes 40% of his shots. Went 1 for 6 from 3, I think, yesterday. Like, come on. The Clippers, I don't trust. The Jazz, they needed a 45-point performance from Donovan Mitchell win. They're a great shooting team all around. But the Suns, as you said, Alex, I think it's a dogfight. I think they beat the Nuggets in 6, though. The Nuggets, I think they rebound tonight, but the Nuggets don't have it. They don't have that Jamal Murray. They barely scrape by the Trailblazers. And I just see the Suns every which way. They have such, as Logan said, a well-rounded team. Devin Booker's the scorer. Chris Paul's their point guard. DeAndre Ayton's in the low post. You got guys like Jay Crowder, be the enforcer. I like the Suns, but I'm still, Clippers are still my pick, though.
Yeah, sure. I think the Suns have all the makings of it. I think that's what you bring a guy like Chris Paul in to do to, help with the veteran leadership, take this team over the top. Certainly they can do it. Will they do it? I don't know. I certainly can see them coming out of the West, though. 100%. They're a good team. Very good. Very, very good team. I don't know. When you say the Clippers, I I'm still have that thought of the Clippers in my mind from last year, and I gotta get that thought of the Clippers out of my mind because that was inside the bubble. Teams play differently inside the bubble, as we saw with the Miami Heat, as we saw with the Los Angeles Lakers. They put what do you making that face for? It's a fact. Teams play different inside the bubble. You know that's a team that couldn't even escape out of the first round. But yeah,
but you're right though. Still, they barely this year, and that's what I'm trying to say. As much as I picked them, they barely scraped by the Mavericks. Scraped by, and you saw it last night. They had a 15-point lead on the Jazz.
Yeah.
Couldn't close it out. They couldn't box out. Rudy Gobert was killing them on the rebounds. Donovan Mitchell put up 48. When you have the two best quote-unquote perimeter defenders in the league, you still blow a 15-point lead. So that's why, I don't know. It scares me. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know why Paul George can't perform in the playoffs. It irritates me because I want to see this team succeed. But I don't know. They're a frustrating team to watch.
So let me ask you guys a question. I'm sorry we keep getting back to this. But are you taking AD over Giannis? Just out of asking.
You're asking me?
Both of you guys. Are you guys taking AD over Giannis? I'm not. I don't know about you, but I'm not. I'm not taking a two-time MVP, a two-time defensive player of the year. You're taking. So right now, to lead their teams, are you taking AD over Giannis Antetokounmpo?
See, I'm lower on Giannis than most people are.
Sure, I am too, but I'm not lower on the fact that he's not better than Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I'm still probably taking him over AD, but I'm lower on him than the national media is for sure. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. His numbers are sometimes inflated. It seems like he doesn't do a whole lot, but the fact of the matter is he's a more effective player. You feel his presence more than AD's presence, unfortunately.
Yes. I would take Giannis, and I understand. Listen, I've been so critical of him, his free throw shooting, his 3-point percentage. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, what I have seen out of Anthony Davis is I haven't seen him be that guy consistently. Mm-hmm. And I know Giannis, listen, he's getting all the criticism he deserves because they're getting blown out of the water by the Nets. And I know the Nets are terrific, but blown out of the water. So I don't know. I'm still taking Giannis over Anthony Davis.
Are you taking Jokic over AD?
Oh my God, no question.
Okay, yeah. Pranav just said he would take both of those guys over AD. So I'm AD over both of those guys. So
over Jokic.
Jokic.
At this point,
Jokic, hold on. Pranav, tell Pranav to come on the show, to come on the comments. Listen, Jokic is the MVP. Jokic is the engine of the offense. He is their star player. What has he seen all year long? What has he been watching in the playoffs? Jokic was putting up 30 consistently. He's putting up consistently a double-double. He's their star person without Jamal Murray. Anthony Davis is good, but most of the time he's been great is because he also has LeBron by his side.
He's about to say LeBron. No. Listen, we're gonna give Pranav an opportunity to come on the show. Let's see if he answers the call. Let's see if he wants to come and explain himself with all this AD stuff on the show. I'm literally sending him the invite out right now. Guys, we never do this on the show either. Usually we have our schedule, we stick to it. But that's the thing about the Game Changer show, guys. You get off topic sometimes, and we sometimes we got to address foolishness. And I definitely want to address it right now. So let's see if Pranav, Dan, you can send him a text, see if he wants to come on the show.
Yeah.
He can explain himself. And I'm sure he'll pull up all his advanced metrics and stats and blah.
Oh, yeah, they're coming.
They're coming. So, like I said, we sent him out the invite. We sent him the link. Let's see what happens. The fact of the matter is, I think that I think that Pranav, we sent you the link to your email. The invite has been sent. Come on the show. Come on the show, man. We sent you the link to your email. Come on. We invite you. We invite you on for this royal ass kicking that you're about to get on the show. Come on. Let's go. That's what we're talking about right now because, I think the thing about Pranav is he doesn't think anybody will debate him basketball, but I'm here for it. He says the consensus is very often wrong about my Giannis being, over AD take that AD over Giannis take that he said he had. So we'll see if he accepts it, guys. We'll see if he's willing to come on the show and actually talk some basketball with us. And usually he doesn't turn out a debate. I want to know if he will turn one down now. But yeah. So with that being said, guys, until Pranav comes on the show, let's switch it. Let's switch the topic here. UFC boxing, right? We got the UFC 263 happening. Pranav, the invite has been sent to you. We're waiting on you now. But what were your thoughts on the Mayweather Logan Paul? Right, a lot of boxing loyalists and boxing purists are saying Logan Paul is bad for the sport. Floyd Mayweather is a disgrace. He never should have ever stepped foot in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. And to that, I say that's an old school mentality that I have. But Alex, what do you think of that? What did you think of the entire spectacle of Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul?
I completely love this topic. And to the people who are saying, who are downing it like it's just, I mean, it is a freak show. It is a circus. But people who are downing it like it's worthless, those people need to look at the state of boxing. They act like boxing is just at its highest point right now. It was dying. It was dying more than ever when these guys picked it up. And I bet you the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight outsold most, if not all, real pro boxing fights this year. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And if Floyd Mayweather wants to step in the ring with Logan Paul, and if Logan Paul wants to step in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, who are these old heads to come in there and say that they're not allowed to do that? Like, and the people saying that Logan Paul did awful, I completely don't understand. Because before the fight started, it was all about how Floyd Mayweather was going to dominate him. Logan Paul had been saying for weeks, there are weight classes for a reason, and everyone was saying, Logan Paul, you're stupid. That's not going to matter. And then now there's excuses popping up everywhere. It's Logan Paul held him the whole time. There's weight classes for a reason.
That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse.
That's the whole point of the fight, is that there was a weight class.
But that's not an excuse.
They're making excuse as to why Floyd didn't put him away.
No. An excuse is something. It would be something that's not factual or not right. It's a fact. The fact of the matter is. Wait. So the fact of the matter is, Logan Paul, from a boxing standpoint, walked into that fight damn near a heavyweight. He was a heavyweight. He weighed in as heavyweight. Made sense, right? First and foremost, let me say this right off the bat, because I want people to think I'm hating. I want to tip my cap to Logan Paul for stepping in there with Floyd Mayweather, for surviving in there with Floyd Mayweather, regardless of the tactics he took to survive. He survived in there with Floyd Mayweather. He got punched in his face, got a black eye and all that kind of stuff, but he survived in there with Floyd Mayweather. Let's not let that deter us from reality. The reality is, it was an exhibition fight. The reality is, it wasn't 10 rounds. It was not like a pro fight. It was 8 rounds with shorter minutes. That's what it was, with a running clock consistently. Let's keep it going as well. He was able to hold on and tie Floyd Mayweather more. Every single time where they had a chance to actually strike at distance, Floyd Mayweather was piecing the guy up. That's a fact. But that's what's expected. Let's not act like Logan. Listen, I'm taking my hat off to the fact that he survived in there with Floyd Mayweather and that he actually did something that his brother wasn't even willing to do. Logan doesn't even scream that he's a boxer, but he stepped in there with an actual boxer, right? The thing is, I think we have to make sure we keep it within the realm of reality. He survived, guys. He hugged Floyd. He tied Floyd up. He had a 30 to 40 pound weight advantage on him, and he tied him up. He survived. It wasn't more than that. I feel like we're making it more than what it is. Like, the guy didn't do anything spectacular. He survived.
3 rounds off the greatest of all time. He won rounds 1, 2, and 7.
He did not, though. He did not.
He won rounds 1, 2, and 7.
No,
he did not win number 7.
He did not win any.
He did win number 7.
Alex, he didn't win any round.
Yeah.
Even the punch that say it.
Stop
Hugging somebody does not mean anything. If it was a real fight, Alex, do you know what would have happened in a real fight? He would have got point deductions for holding on and hugging.
Yes, I understand that. But
right.
But
what are we talking about?
He is navigating in the rules of this fight. It's also not a real fight because, like you said, he's 30 to 40 pounds heavier. Like, he's navigating in the rules of this fight. Does that make him wrong?
You know what I think? I think you like the Paul brothers. I think you like the Paul brothers, and I think you are Paul brothers supporters. That's what I think.
Root for them in everything they do.
Only some damn Paul brothers supporters will come up here and be like, well, he won round 1. No, he didn't win a round. He didn't even touch Floyd.
Yeah, he can't
touch Floyd. He didn't win a damn round against Floyd Mayweather.
Look back and watch it. He won rounds 1, 2, and 7.
He won what round? What round did he win?
1,
What
2,
round?
and 7.
No. The only round he won was before the bell when it came out to their theme music. He came out to the iconic Greatest Showman song. From now on, that was the best thing he had going for him the entire night.
And
Nothing
the
else.
necklace. I mean, that went hard, but
That sucked. That sucked.
He won
his
3
necklace?
rounds.
You're telling me his necklace sucked? Come on.
See, you're acting like I'm a Paul lover. You're acting like a Paul hater.
I'm not a Paul hater. I don't mind the
Yes,
Paul.
you are.
I
Yes,
don't mind
you
the
are.
Paul brothers.
Yes, you are.
I don't mind the Paul brothers. I don't mind the Paul brothers. Listen, I love the fact that they are self-made. I love the fact that they are self-made, that they made it their own way. I don't like Jake. I don't respect Jake. I don't respect his antics that he does. I respect Logan. Logan literally had a very tragic downfall a couple years back, and he built himself back up. He made, in one night, stepping into with Floyd Mayweather, he made what some boxers, it takes them 17, 10, 15 years to make. In one night.
Some boxers
Hats off. He literally has his podcast going for him. He's got so much awesome, amazing things going for him. I am by no means a hater of the Paul brothers. I do not hate on success. I'm an entrepreneur. They're entrepreneurs, right? I started my own business. They started their own thing. I don't know what it is, but they started their own thing, right? And it's successful for them. They make a lot of money from it. They are crazy. They do all this kind of stuff. Congratulations. I will never hate on somebody's success. Never. You will never catch me doing that. But we're not going to take it out of the realm of reality as well. They're not fighters. They're not fighters, guys. I respect them for having the balls to step in a cage or an octagon or whatever it is that these crazy guys do. Respect it. But let's talk about it. Jake Paul, and Daniel loves Jake Paul, for you guys that don't know. Daniel loves Jake Paul. Jake Paul is this, Jake Paul is that. He loves Jake Paul.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Will you give him respect?
Absolutely. But Jake Paul says he's committed to the sport of boxing. Jake Paul, since coming into the sport of boxing, has boxed DG, KSI's younger brother. He's boxed Nate Robinson. He's rocked Annette Gibson, another YouTuber. He's boxed 2 YouTubers, a basketball player that block like that.
And he knew what he was supposed to do.
Stop talking for a second. Yeah. And then he beat Ben Askren, a guy that is known for not striking, a guy that is literally a wrestler who literally had his hands like that, who's 40 years old coming off of the hip surgery. What are we talking about?
So hold on. On a past show, you literally said, listen, like the hypothetical game. If Jake Paul wins, because I've seen this time and time again, if Jake Paul wins, he still won't get the credit he deserves. I guarantee you.
If he beats Tyron Woodley, he will get credit. I
hope he does. I damn hope he does.
Who's a former world champion, somebody actually have hands. No, you are just, you love the clout. You're a big fan of the whole Paul brothers and everything they got going on with them. And it's crap.
Malik, listen, you can't tell me you don't. I respect what he's done because you understand.
You love them.
Hold on, whoa! Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. I respect what he's done because listen, what does he have to gain instead of fighting all these people in the past? Just say, hey, hold on. What does he have to gain instead of fighting all these fights, building them up, making the money, and just saying, hey, I want to fight the best boxer? No, he understands that it's a path. He fought a basketball player, Nate Robinson, obviously not a boxer. Then he fought. Everybody knows
another
YouTuber.
Everybody knows you're a Jake Paul. Everyone knows you're part of Paul Mania.
No. Listen, you're not listening to actual facts behind this. You're not. Listen,
because you're not saying anything I don't know already.
Professional,
you're
not respecting nobody for the first couple fights.
He's literally building up his brand. But what I'm saying is
exactly. So what's wrong with that?
Right. It's a difference between when you say, "Hey, I want to box boxers because I want to take the sport serious." Like he has said, he's dedicating his life to the sport.
What is he doing right now?
He's boxing an MMA fighter in Tyron Woodley.
Wait.
Is that not good enough?
It is
Tyron
good.
Woodley?
Keep progressing.
Exactly.
I can respect
what's wrong with that?
But you live in a lunatic fantasy where you think that Jake Paul, I remember you even said Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul actually got some real skills. No, he doesn't.
Yes, he doesn't.
How can you say he doesn't? How can you say he doesn't?
What do you mean? Because I've actually trained boxing. I've seen
say what you want.
He's
Say what you
trash.
want about his
He's
opponents.
trash.
It's not like his opponents tested him. He's done what he's supposed to with those opponents.
Exactly. But they
He's
have
the same
no.
thing that Canelo would have done with those opponents.
Two YouTubers.
He's done what's asked.
And one of
It's like,
them,
hold
and
on.
the one
It's
with the
like
rest of them was
LeBron James.
arguably paid off.
It's like
One of
LeBron
the
James. If
rest of them was
LeBron
arguably
James
paid off.
makes the finals,
Yes.
it's like if LeBron James makes the finals, we're not going to care about his competition. If he wins the finals, hey, he won a ring.
Pranav will.
He won.
Pranav
Okay,
will.
but listen, and we have
Pranav
Pranav
will.
right here. I see Pranav, but there's a
Pranav will.
difference.
Of
And
course
we're
I
bringing
will.
him in. We're bringing him in. That's what we're doing here. Listen, Malik, all I'm saying is I respect what he's doing. He's building
you love
himself
what he's
up.
doing. You
I
love what he's
respect.
doing.
You can't put words into my mouth.
You're
You can't put
infatuated
words
with
into my
you're
mouth.
infatuated
You
with what he's
can't
doing.
put words
You're
into my mouth.
infatuated with what he's doing.
I think what Daniel's trying to say is like, so his competition may be weak. Like, let's bring up the LeBron example. LeBron, the Lakers, it's a fact that they didn't play a single top 10 defense throughout the entire playoffs. However, the ring still counts. Jake Paul's win still counts.
Yes. Yes.
It does not count because he doesn't have a pro boxing license, so none of them actually count. Just so you know.
Wait,
I think he does have his pro boxing
No, he
license.
does not. No, he does not. He does not have an official boxing. He has to get it for this one. So if he beats Tyron Woodley, he would be considered 1-0 for this.
Okay, well, regardless, can anybody on here or anybody that's watching this tell me who Floyd Mayweather fought his first 4 fights? Because I sure as hell can't. There were guys that were 0-14.
Jake Paul
You
started
sound
fighting
ridiculous.
3
You
years
sound
ago.
ridiculous. You sound
Malik,
ridiculous.
Malik,
You just
hold on,
compared
we're not doing
Jake
this.
Paul
Malik,
to
listen.
Floyd Mayweather.
Listen.
You just compared
Malik,
Jake Paul to
Floyd Mayweather. Floyd
Keep that
Mayweather
in
called
mind.
himself a boxer.
You just compared him to Floyd Mayweather, arguably the greatest boxer of all time, our generation.
And look who Floyd stepped in the ring with. Logan Paul.
Stop talking.
Stepped in the ring with Logan Paul.
You're talking about the fact that you just compared him to Floyd Mayweather, who started boxing at the age of 5 years old, who literally comes from a lineage of boxing, who literally has never even been knocked down in his career. Like, that's who you just compared him to.
I'm not just talking about Floyd Mayweather. I'm talking about any boxer. Look at any boxer.
No, you just said
Alex, I got you.
All Barrett narratives. You're comparing them to some of
Alex, I got you. Listen, Malik,
you don't have him. You don't have him.
Yes, you literally said it yourself. You've been boxing since you were 8. Jake Paul started 3 years ago. And you're telling him to step foot in a ring with a pro boxer? And I know, yes.
It's the difference between when you listen. You got to understand something, Daniel. And I think that's what you're not understanding. I'm all for building up your brand, right?
Yes.
Stop waiting to respond. Just listen. I'm all for building up your brand. That's literally what Ryan Garcia did. Ryan Garcia was being fed bums for a very, very long time. For a very long time. Remember me and Pranav actually having this conversation. I said the last fight he just had was going to be his toughest test. I said because they've literally been just feeding him guys that he's going to beat with ease. And a lot of boxing, they do this a lot of the times with boxing. I think the thing with me, right, is that somebody like Jake Paul, who is building up his brand, right? So is Logan. Logan Paul is building up his brand as well. But I think the disconnect between Logan and Jake Paul is that Jake said, I'm actually going to take the sport of boxing serious. I'm actually going to box real boxers. I want to dedicate my life to this. That's what he said. Those were his exact words. He said he was training up at Big Bear Gym. I don't know if you know about Big Bear Gym. Probably don't know. You don't really watch boxing. But Big Bear Gym is one of the best boxing gyms, one of the legendary boxing gyms. He said he's been training there. Well, everything that he's done to date has shown the exact opposite of actually taking the sport serious, is what I'm trying to say. To me, it seems like it's more of a troll job. And I think that's why a lot of fighters are like guys like Tommy Fury, right? Who are just starting out their boxing career, kind of young in their boxing career. They're like, fight me. If you're actually serious, who he actually has beef with, right? Former girlfriends, dating, whatever the case may be. I think that's where the disconnect is. You're his brother who's not taking boxing serious. You could shake your head, but it's a fact what I'm saying. Because you're listening to respond, you're not listening to listen.
I'm listening.
You're not listening. You're not listening to listen. You're not. Well, don't shake your head. Well, don't shake your head and just. Well, don't shake your head. Just listen.
I am listening. I can shake my head.
Listen. So, like I was saying, so the fact of the matter is, Jake Paul is not trying to box boxers. Logan Paul is literally a podcaster now. Got a lot of stuff going for him, and stepped foot in the ring with the greatest boxer of all time. You see how the paths aren't lining up? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Tyron Woodley is better than any opponent Tommy Fury has ever faced. Tommy Fury is fighting nobody but 0-14 bums that are there.
But here's the thing. Tommy Fury's a boxer. If Jake is taking the sport serious, I'm talking to Alex right now. If Jake is taking the sport serious, right? beating Tommy Fury, who you have actual legit heat with, legit beef with. What does that do for what you're trying to accomplish? You said you're trying to take the sport boxing serious. You're dedicating your life to the sport of boxing. You actually want to make a career out of it. That's why you're calling out guys like Canelo and trying to get under people's skin and stuff like that. So if by beating a guy like Tommy Fury, who hasn't really done much in the sport, that would be a lot of people will respect that more than you beating up on a Ben Askren. Or even I respect him if he beats Tyron Woodley, but a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people won't.
The biggest thing also, like, I understand you're saying how he says he wants to be a pro boxer. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, his priority is trolling over boxing. I can guarantee that. And that's where
we know that though. We know that. And that's the thing. But that's the thing though. So I think that's where we're agreeing more, Daniel, than we're disagreeing, actually.
Yeah. But I respect him for even stepping foot with Tyron Woodley. Any disrespect I have is out of the window because of that.
Absolutely. And that boom. We agree.
Thank you.
Before the fact that he's no longer fighting on Triller and he's fighting on Showtime, and Showtime puts on real boxing events against real fighters, I respect the hell out of that. Jake Paul, that's why I said originally Jake Paul didn't have my respect, but he had my respect going into this fight. Because if Jake Paul stops Tyron Woodley, you won't hear nothing out of me. You might even make a fan out of me, Jake Paul.
I'm going to clip this.
Clip it. All right. Well, guys, it's been a while since we had one of these on the show. We all saw Pranav talking in the Twitter section. Saw Pranav talking in the YouTube section. Pranav, you might want to get your buddies in here. I know that's what you do. You text everybody like, "Yo, come here. I'm about to roast this guy and blah 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 blah. And do this and do that." So we were talking earlier, and you were saying essentially that AD is a top 5 NBA player. I think you misconstrued what I was saying. To be honest with you, I think you're thinking I'm trying to disrespect Anthony Davis. Say he's never been a top 5 player. No. I say he's not a top 5 NBA player right now.
Okay, since I took your tweet specifically said never, and that's where I had the problem.
Okay, with it. Yeah. So, but even so, the problem I had with you, right? Since we're addressing one another, I'm glad. You said AD, you would take AD over Giannis. You said something like that on Twitter.
Correct.
Talk to me about that, because all the guys on here disagree with you. Just so you know as well.
Okay, so right now Giannis has had the better year than AD. That's the simple way we could put it. So is Jokic.
Last 2 years.
Yeah.
Continue.
So is Jokic this year. But when we saw AD in the playoffs last year, he had a historically great playoffs. One can even argue he was the best player on the Lakers throughout that playoff run. And throughout both of Giannis and AD's career, Giannis has consistently fallen in offensive production. He has, while AD has risen. And that's not even just with the Lakers. That's with the Pelicans as well. Look back at the series against the Portland Trailblazers, who had the 6th best defense that year. AD tore him up. You take a look back, even at
what year was this?
2017, 2018.
Okay.
And then you take a look back at his first series against the Golden State Warriors, the eventual champion. He also tore them up as well, and they had the best defense in the NBA that year. So when you take a look at that, it's not just that his success has come with the Los Angeles Lakers. And I know Daniel said earlier.
And I don't think anybody said. Just so we're clear, I don't think anybody. You're pointing to. I don't think anybody said his success came with the Los Angeles Lakers. Everybody knows who Anthony Davis was.
Right.
But you had pointed to his playoff success, right?
Right, and I saw Daniel say.
I'm alluding to something. Like, we're talking about the course of an entire season, not just playoffs, right? That's what we're talking about. We're gauging the entire thing, right? Because you could say Eli Manning at one point in time was the greatest playoff quarterback, right? Because of the way his performances in the playoffs, his teams won the Super Bowl. Yes, absolutely. He played like the best quarterback in the NFL in the playoffs. That's why his team made magical runs both those years. But continue. I'm listening.
So I heard Daniel say earlier that, AD has the success because LeBron James was on his team. And yes, team success-wise, that is true. You're not going to win anything without 2 superstars. However, Anthony Davis statistically improved in points per game and efficiency with LeBron James off the court. You combine that with his offensive value in the playoffs that he consistently rises every single time.
That's over the past 2 years?
Last playoffs. Oh,
and yes, you say you're not going to win anything. I just want to literally dissect everything you're saying.
You're not going to win anything without 2 superstars.
So what did Kawhi Leonard do with the Raptors?
He had 2 other star players.
two very good players, I would say. I won't say superstars. You said star players. Right?
Lowry was a star. And Siakam was a star as well.
Not superstars though.
So when you add two other stars, that equates to superstar value, and he also caught a break with Durant and Clay getting hurt. But with that being said, you combine all of that, right? You combine his playoff success. We're talking about specifically Giannis. Specifically Giannis. You combine AD success.
We're talking about Giannis. We're talking about all the guys you said you would put
Giannis,
AD.
I would take Luka. I would take Luka over AD.
But what about Jokic?
I wouldn't, because here's the thing with Jokic. Jokic is better than AD offensively. We all agree.
Yeah.
However, his defensive value significantly drops come playoff time.
Agreed.
Right. And in the regular season, you can argue that Jokic has improved on the defensive end, that, he's not as big of a liability as one would say. But in the playoffs, teams like the Portland Trail Blazers, that's the only reason why the series went to 6, is because of Jokic's defense. You take Jokic's defense, Dame calls up Nurkic on the high ball screen, and they just attack him, and that's their plan of strategy. They attack him and they drive to the paint with ease. And I think with a guy like AD, rim protection is so valuable in the playoffs in the NBA. Each champion has had a great rim protector and a great defensive anchor. AD has that combined with his offensive production that he only improves in.
You keep pointing to the playoffs, though. Is
the playoffs not the most important?
But they both have, if we're talking about it, when they both were the core players on their team, when AD was with the Pelicans, and they both didn't do anything. They both didn't win anything.
Well, that's because of the situation surrounding them.
Where I am confused about this Jokic versus Davis thing is,
right?
Can Anthony Davis run that offense like Jokic does? And that's where I understand his defense. I understand that his defense is a huge impact, right? If you have Anthony Davis and on those high pick and roll, Anthony Davis will be able to defend it better. He's a better defender than Jokic. He's a top 5 defender in the league. But Jokic is on the offensive end. He's the engine to their offense. I was telling Alex this earlier. He's their offense.
Right.
Can Anthony Davis do that? That's what my concern with Anthony Davis is. I've seen him be so passive, and last finals he wasn't. I've seen him be so passive and not be an offensive, their offense. With no Jamal Murray, Jokic is still doing it. Michael Porter Jr. is a star, but he's not putting up 25-30 a game like Jokic is.
And here's the thing. No disagreements there. Jokic runs the offense better than Anthony Davis. However, I think there's only 1 or 2 players who run an offense better than Jokic in the current NBA. So
you're taking his defensive value over
I'm taking his defensive value combined with what he provides as an off-ball threat on offense over Jokic's offensive game. And if you take Jokic over him, that's completely fine. But that leaves one Giannis. And unfortunately for Giannis' case, I think AD does everything on the defensive end better. I do. His rim protection is better, and his on-ball defense is better. Maybe Giannis has better help side defense, but even then, they're very comparable in that area. And then when you talk about their offense, Giannis is the better passer. But when it comes to playoff translation, his lack of you've mentioned this, his lack of being a competent half-court option combined with, how teams can wall up against him in the paint. You can't do that with AD because AD can space the floor. AD is a good lob threat off the ball. AD is constantly moving without the ball while Giannis isn't. So when you take Giannis specifically on the offensive end, I can't put him over AD because of his lack of successful playoff translation. And then defensively, I think AD's superior rim protection.
But another thing, here's a good kind of comparison. Listen, I'm sorry. If I'm starting this Lakers team over next year and if I can switch Giannis and Anthony Davis, I know that they won a finals before, but it takes the pressure off of LeBron James as the major ball handler, right? Because Giannis can do that. Giannis can run the offense, even though it's not preferred. I don't know. I'm telling you, I think Giannis and LeBron James is a way more dominant pairing than Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
I would strongly disagree because both of them need to operate in the paint, and the spacing would be atrocious.
Isn't spacing an issue now, though, for the Lakers?
It is, but AD spaces the floor, so that gives you at least one competent option.
Yeah, but he's spacing the floor, but that's I think you've literally mentioned this too. He's got to play the center position. Right. He's way more dominant as a center.
He's the best center since Shaq, operating in the low post. But when you give AD that flexibility in the low post, then you have LeBron.
He hasn't used that flexibility though. He hasn't.
Exactly. That's the only.
He doesn't do it. That's what
I hate. That's the only part of AD which I hate. He doesn't play the 5, and when he does play the 5, that does provide spacing because he's in the post. That draws so much defensive attention.
If he does that, if he plays in the post, if he plays aggressive, if he plays in the post, I would take him over Giannis in a heartbeat. But he doesn't, and that's what concerns me because I've seen him do it in the finals. I've seen him be the aggressive, but over the past, I don't know, even this season, he doesn't have that, and that's what concerns me. That's what concerns me.
To be fair, this season he was banged up. He was all hurt. But even in the Phoenix series, when he was healthy or healthy-ish, he did drop 34 and 12 when he was guarded by 8. So,
if he's healthy, they win that series easily.
Right. So, I mean, if availability is your thing, we can rank like 20 players over AD. But we have to draw the line.
I'm not even talking about just. I feel like a big base of your argument. And Alex, feel free because I feel like you've been sitting there. I feel free to jump in at any point in time. I think a big base of your argument is playoffs, right? Playoffs. I'm talking about the position, like even like the position, like if we're gonna compare situations, is AD doing what Giannis is having his team? If he without LeBron, right? Mm-hmm. Is AD going to have his team in a position that Giannis had? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
is AD going to be able to withstand an injury like a Jamal Murray going down for the Denver Nuggets and keeping his team afloat and still being dominant? I don't think so.
Well, so I think he did do those things though. In 2017, 2018, DeMarcus Cousins tore his Achilles, and Anthony Davis had them with the record that would equate the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. He did do that.
What was the record?
It was I could Google it, but it was the exact the 3 through 6 seeds that year were like the exact same record. It came down to multiple tiebreakers, but as the 6th seed, without his second best player, what did
they do? And what did they do? So they swept the Trailblazers,
and then they lost to the champion Warriors.
Aiden pointed this out in that series. The reason they beat the Trailblazers, I would say, was not Anthony Davis. It was Drew Holiday. He had, and I love Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's my favorite player. He put Damian Lillard on clamps. Damian Lillard was able to do nothing. And as we know, the Trailblazers don't run if Anthony Davis. I mean, if Damian Lillard doesn't. I think Drew Holiday is just as much to give credit for that playoff victory as Anthony Davis.
He does deserve a lot of credit. He does. But at the same time, Drew Holiday's defense as a perimeter defender is enhanced because he has such a dominant rim protector in AD. If Drew Holiday gets blown by, you have
that also sounds like the point you had made earlier. Early in the year about Donovan Mitchell. I don't know why that just popped in my head.
About the Gobert thing?
Yeah, the Rudy Gobert thing.
Yeah, but in terms of AD, like his offensive dominance in that series going up against an elite defense that year, because Portland's defense was good that year compared to what it is now. They were the 6th best defense in the NBA, and he averaged over like 30 points on +8 relative true shooting, something like that. He was an absolute monster, and Drew Holiday did not replicate that same offensive production for the Pelicans. And AD's defense is obviously going to be better than Holiday's because of his rim protection.
I'm pretty sure Drew Holiday had almost as many points. I don't remember, but I remember Drew Holiday put up at least 25. At least 25, and Dame Lillard is somebody. I'll check after this. At least 25, and I remember Dame. I don't even think he hit 20. I don't even think Dame hit 20 points per game. If Dame hits 25, if Dame's hitting like what he's actually doing, like. I don't know. It just.
But I understand Pranav's argument. He's saying essentially Damian Lillard didn't do that because he had AD guarding him. Essentially, so
not. She had Drew guarding him.
Drew. But
when Drew gets blown by, AD's right there to cover for him because of his help defense.
Right. Okay. So I think that this is going to be one of those things. Those quote unquote arguments that. It's really not an argument; it's a matter of opinion because I don't.
Right. But the biggest problem I had, which you clarified already, the biggest problem I had was when you said he was never top 5, and I can't go that far.
Yeah. No. I can understand I can understand where you're coming from, but and my biggest problem that you had was, I guess essentially saying that you would take Jokic over Jokic or Giannis, and I thought you were going to provide actual. Evidence behind that, but it seems like it's a matter of opinion.
I mean, do you want evidence in terms of Giannis's drops? Like,
No, I don't think the viewers care for that.
Exactly. But
no,
I mean,
I'm serious. I don't think the viewers care for that and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, it's a matter of did you do it or did you not, right? The fact of the matter is, we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time MVP. Jokic won an MVP this year. I'm just saying, like, to say that you would take AD over those guys in their best years and put it up with AD's best years. I'm not quite sure that's something that's accurate, but.
I mean, you could argue AD was deserving of Depoy last year, and you can argue that he was deserving of the 2017-18 MVP.
Yeah, you can argue, but you can also argue LeBron deserves MVP damn near every single year he's healthy. But you know what I mean? It's one of those things like, it's a matter of opinion.
Right.
That's my big thing. It's a matter of opinion. But guys, listen, this was a long show. We talked about a lot. We debated about a lot. We talked about the Paul brothers. We talked about Daniel's love for the Paul brothers. We talked about so much on the show, and apparently I don't like to see those guys succeed. Apparently, that's the takeaways from today's show. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the show. For those of you who are still here, who didn't get annoyed with hearing my voice, make sure you guys go download TWSN mobile app, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all of our social media platforms. Alex, it was great to have you. It's great to have you back, man. Alex is going to be joining us on the Game Changers from here on out. I'm sure he'll be coming with some hot takes. We never got to address something that you said a while back, Alex, a couple months ago. I just remember it was on another show. You said the Jets were going to win.
Give me my money, Alex. Give me my money. Give me my money.
You said this. You said the Jets were going to win the division.
Look, I've made a lot of takes in my life. That is the worst.
Yeah.
The worst take I've ever made in my life. I thought Sam Darnold would take that next step. By the way, still a huge Sam Darnold fan. He's with Joe Brady. He's with Joe Brady. The Carolina Panthers are going to ball out this year with Sam Darnold. I'm just saying, hey, maybe they win the division. No, I'm kidding. They're not. I'm also here to make sure if Daniel went well on his promise. He has not one, but 2 cans of salsa. He needs to shop.
No. Everyone reads it wrong. It was one. I parlayed them. So if one of them went wrong, I lost him. And we clarified. I am not posting this video. I'm a man of my word. I will do it. I will send it to people via text. I am not posting it though on social media. But yes, I'm a man of my word. Basically, Alex, I said the parlay the 2 Celtics would win 2 games in the series. They won 1, and the Trailblazers would beat the Nuggets. They obviously didn't beat the Nuggets.
So essentially, what you used to do, Alex, was you have the shotgun and the beer. He has the shotgun. Off the can.
If you already have the video, why are you not posting it on social media?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it yet. But I'm for professionalism's reasons, I will not be posting this.
I just feel like you're missing out right there, man.
For undisclosed reasons in his contract signed with the Right Way Sports Network, he is forbidden from posting that on social media. But Daniel, guys,
guarantee the Bengals win the Super Bowl.
I'll guarantee the Bengals beat the Chiefs. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on this show. We will see you next Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. You can catch us. Maybe we'll have Pranav join us next week as well. He's a fun follow. Follow Sports World Debates on Instagram and Pranav Shriram on Twitter. See how I remember that? Follow Alex Sagini on Twitter, or the Sagini. What is it, Alex? It's at Sagini, right?
It's at Sagini, Seghini. I couldn't get the
there we go. Well, you know where to follow Daniel and I, Alameda Views, and of course, I'm always right, so Right Report. Follow me on Twitter, guys. We will see you next week live on the show, and good night, everybody.
The marathon continues. The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind.